Hey everyone, this is Alicia, also known as AVP 60685. Time for my weekly blog topic. First of all, hope you guys are doing all a good week. Thank you all for those of you that are subscribing to my channel. Now we're at 610. Yay! Hope you guys continue to subscribe, and I'll continue to subscribe back. If you guys have any questions on my channel that I can answer for you, be sure to let me know. My resolutions, I've already watched a movie for this month. I may watch another one. I don't know. Still reading. Haven't quite finished my book on Marie Antoinette, which is going to be my one for this month. Took my mom to the movies yesterday. We finally got to see Star Wars Episode 8. So that was good. We had a good time. Let me see, what else do I need to tell you guys with my resolutions? Still trying to back off on the sweets, trying to back off on snacks, trying to stay as active as possible. Did quite a bit of walking yesterday. Walked almost, I think it was about 3 miles with all the walking I did. Walking to and from the station, the subway station, and also walking to the movie theater. Also walking to where we went out to eat afterwards, so that was kind of nice. Haven't done my Hunger Games since we lost 4 of them, so we're still gonna have to do that. Still gonna do my other Sims games soon, hopefully. Today's topic I thought I would do about Star Trek versus Star Wars and why I don't have the conflict between the two. A lot of times you hear a lot of people jokingly around saying Star Wars is better than Star Trek, Star Trek is better than Star Wars, and yada yada yada. What I'm going to say is this. I love them both in different ways, and I both realize that they're very, very different from each other. And let me give you a little backstory. When I was about 3 to 4 years old, my father introduced me to Star Trek and Star Wars at the same time. So when I started watching them, I started realizing that there was differences even at a very young age. When I started watching Star Wars, I saw that the people used these things called lightsabers. They had a thing called the Force. They didn't go to many planets, but they did a lot of battles. There was a lot of things with good versus evil. With Star Trek, it basically involved a lot of adventures to different planets where they dealt with different aliens, and it dealt with a lot more stories involving the human or the human looking characters such as Spock. And I realized that they were very different from each other. That was an interesting time in my life because my dad played the trumpet and he would play both of the themes. He actually had both theme musics that he would play on the trumpet for me. And one of the last things he did before he got really, really sick was he played one of the themes on the trumpet for me. Sadly, I never did get to record any of his playing of the trumpet onto video or audio. But I always picture it in my mind's eye and also in my mind's ear. I can still hear it. So whenever I hear certain themes played on the trumpet, it reminds me of him. And basically, I grew up watching episodes 4, 5, and 6 of Star Wars on video with my dad. And then later, we watched episode 1. We watched it later after it had been in theaters and then got released on video. He and I later watched episode 2 in theaters. Episode 2 we watched in theaters. Episode 3 we wanted to see in theaters, but we didn't. We got it on DVD later. But all 6 of those original Star Wars we would watch over and over and over again. Every single one of those I've seen at least 4 times, maybe more. With the new remakes of the Star Wars, episodes 7 and 8, I have seen both of those twice each. I saw episode 7 twice. I saw that one both times in theaters. I now have that on DVD, so I may watch that at a future time. Episode 8 I have seen twice in theaters as well. When that gets on DVD, I may watch that more. I don't know. When episode 9 comes out, I may watch that. So with Star Trek, I grew up watching the original one was with William Shatner, Leonard Nimoy, DeForest Kelley, and all of those characters. Then I saw some of the movies. Then I watched Star Trek Next Generation, where I got one of my first crushes, which was on Wesley Crusher. And I also watched Star Trek Deep Space Nine, which was around the same timeline as Star Trek Next Generation. Then I started watching Voyager, and then I watched a little bit of Enterprise. I've seen a little bit of Discovery. I did see the pilot episode. And I did see some of the animated series, which I have now. So, to say there's a big feud between the two franchises, to me, there's not. They always remind me of my father and the happy times we had together, and how special each franchise is to me in their own special way. I mean, like I said, to me, there's no conflict between the two. I love them both in different ways. I know they're two different stories. I know they're created by two different people. Lucas created Star Wars. Gene Roddenberry created Star Trek. They never did mesh together. People have tried to mesh them together in fan things, but I don't mesh them together. I know they're very different from each other. So that's why I'm sharing that, like I said, those are some happy times in my lives that I remember watching both of those with my father. And I also remember mimicking some of the lines from both things. With Star Wars, I remember saying a lot of times, I got a bad feeling about this. Ah, it's a trap! Or, may the force be with you. With Star Trek, I remember saying things like, hey, that's pretty cool, boss. Yeah. Certain lines like that, I remember. Certain stories I remember very, very well. Like my favorite one, The City on the Edge of Forever, where Kirk has to decide whether to let the woman he loves to live or die. I've also seen the J.J. Abrams redones of the Star Trek franchise. Those are pretty good. So like I said, I'm willing to give both of them a shot and say they're both special to me. There's no feud between the two of them for me. I know they're both different, but I love them both in different ways, and this is the reasons why I love them both. Thank you all for watching. Appreciate all the love and support, and I hope to chat again next time. Thank you. Bye.